Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Gunner Diamond welcoming you to yet another Cutter Top 10 video, and today we're going to look at the top 10 Arkansas athletes in history. Of course, rocking the Arkansas shirt, and of course, as I'm taping this, this is the day after Arkansas lost their 10th straight football match. I mean, they started off 2-0, they had two terrible losses that could have gone either way, could have been Arkansas wins, and then they freaking shit the bed and lose 10 in a row. Not only are we not going to be a bowl game, it's one of the most embarrassing marks of an SEC squad, how competitive the SEC is. And also, of course, the NCAA. We did win one conference game. Freaking Vanderbilt. Like, we're worse than Vanderbilt. Ugh. Nevertheless, we have ourselves a top 10 list, and these are the top 10 athletes in Arkansas to have Arkansas affiliation in history. Here we go. Number 10 is Dan Hampton. He was a pretty good player for the Arkansas Razorbacks football team, and then he turned out to be a Chicago Bears, drafted, I think, first round by the Bears. But yeah, he was part of the Bears defensive line with Richard Dent. And I can't remember who else off the top of my head, but yeah, Richard Dent doing his job. And, Hampton was there. He won the Super Bowl ring in 1986 with the Bears. And he was a pretty good player. Number 9 is Scotty Furman. Scotty Furman was a hero for the college basketball team, for the Razorbacks. So anyway, Scotty Furman in the 94 NCAA championship game got a ball with the shot clock running down with like 50 seconds left. He arced a three-pointer into the bucket, and that helped Arkansas seal the title against Duke. But what's even more impressive was the fact that, was it Grant Hill or who was the guy who was right in front of him? I would have said Antonio Lang, but anyway, Furman had the presence of mind to put up a massive high arcing shot over the outstretched arm of Grant Hill and in. That was amazing. Number 8 is Jimmy Johnson. Yes, that Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson actually played for Arkansas when they actually won the 1964 national championship and all that. He was electrifying. And, he played for the national championship team. He didn't really play much in the NFL. But then he became a coach. He decided to coach, and he was part of Miami's run in the 80s. And then Dallas just decided, you know what, we'll hire you. And he won 2 Super Bowls for the Cowboys, even though that the first few games were terrible. It kept getting better and better. And Jimmy Johnson was one of the key guys to flip draft picks for other draft picks and all that. He matriculated the Herschel Walker trade pretty damn well. I mean, getting those 5 players and then just letting them go and getting draft picks for those players and then building his team through the draft. Whereas people like Larry Brown and Emmitt Smith thrived in Russell, Maryland. So that's what he did. He won 2 Super Bowl rings, and then, of course, Clash of Eagles with another guy on this list, another Double J. We'll get to him later. And then he coached Miami, and then his career ended with a 62-7 blowout by Jacksonville in the divisional round in 2000. Number 7 is Joe Ferguson, who, in my mind, could be a great quarterback. I think he's the best Arkansas quarterback to be in the NFL and all that. Whereas Ryan Mallett, God rest his soul, he did make the NFL with my New England Patriots. Of course, being a Patriots fan, I was happy that a guy from my team, Arkansas, got to be on the Patriots. It's akin to having a Kitchener Ranger like Boyd Devereaux play on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nevertheless, Joe Ferguson was pretty much a standout in college, and then he went to Buffalo and helped Buffalo do well and get a few key playoff berths in the early 80s. People forget about that. He was the main guy before John Jim Kelly. Why am I mispronouncing his name? Came to Buffalo. So yeah, Ferguson was pretty good. Oh yeah. Number 6 is Corliss Williamson. Corliss was the big boy and the most memorable face of the 1994 team that won the national championship. Arkansas kept getting close. 1990, they were number 2 in the nation at one point, or in 91 as well. But Arkansas went to the Final Four in 1990. But anyway, Corliss was there with the power forward spot. He was named the most outstanding player. Just call it the most valuable player. He was valuable. And Corliss doing his job as being a great player and ambassador for the Razorbacks club. Hell, he played some games for the Toronto Raptors, so I can't be upset about that. But yeah, Corliss Williamson was pretty good. Finish craft. Number 5 is Tyson Gay. You might be thinking, who the hell is he? Well, if you're an American track fan, you know who the heck he is. If you're not, they're going to tell you limb from limb. Anyway, Tyson Gay was a pretty good track star. He was a 100-meter sprinter with lots of heart and soul. And yeah, he went to the University of Arkansas whilst being eligible for the Olympics and actually winning a few gold medals for America. Unfortunately, his last name being so pathetic that there are websites who basically do name changing software and call him Tyson homosexual. Nevertheless, Tyson Gay was a pretty good track star and, underrated. Number 4 is Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones um, as a co-captain. Yeah, co-captain of the 1964 National Championship team. The other Double J, as I talked about with Jimmy Johnson. Anyway, Jerry Jones parlayed his playing career into business. His business ventures were so good, he managed to buy the Dallas Cowboys from Bum Bright and then decided to fire the only coach Dallas ever had, and that was Tom Landry. It's shocking that Tom Landry lasted 28 years as an NFL head coach. For one thing, that's huge. Nowadays, you'll be lucky if you survive 10 years. Bill Belichick, I know, suffered. Yeah, Belichick only lasted, what, 24 years? 22? 22. So, anyway, Jerry Jones would become the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, fire Landry, and bring Jimmy Johnson in. Everyone thought he was nuts, but it worked out. Jerry Jones knew what he was doing. He won 3 rings as owner of the Cowboys. Unfortunately, they have not been to the conference championship game, much less a Super Bowl, since 1996, which is like shocking and all that. Everyone talks about how bad the Leaf streak is. What about Dallas? I mean, almost every team has been to at least a conference game. I think everyone's been to a conference championship game, every franchise, and that streak's 30 years. Number 3 is Sidney Moncrief for basketball, the top basketball player. Moncrief was a pretty good player. He helped Arkansas get to the Final Four in 1978 and, become a player in the basketball world. So once his career in Arkansas was over, he went to the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was a part of the Bucks in the 1980s, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and a pretty good college basketball player produced by the state of Arkansas. Moncrief was known as the Chief, and he really helped put Arkansas basketball on the map. I mean, Arkansas in 1990 got to the Final Four. In 94, they went to the Final Four and won it, beating Duke. And then 95, they lost the final to UCLA. They've had a few runs in the Elite Eight in the 2020s, so, it's exciting. Number 2 is Darren McFadden for, for football. Darren McFadden was a great runner and all that, wearing number 5 like it was in style for the Razorbacks. He went to college kind of the same time I did. I didn't go to Arkansas, obviously, but yeah. McFadden was a strong runner, and, Arkansas's running attack was huge. It was him, Peyton Hillis, and Felix Jones, who were a 3-headed monster and all that. Peyton Hillis got on the cover of Madden, and as often happens with Madden cover curses, he got bit. And Felix Jones did decently for the Cowboys too. McFadden actually won the Doak Walker Award for best running back-to-back years in '06 and '07. But what's even worse is that he was a two-time runner-up for the Heisman. McFadden in both 2006 and 2007 could have won the Heisman, but he was runner-up. Can you imagine being a runner-up twice in that thing? How? I don't know. But yeah, McFadden was just great. Oakland used him pretty well as a running back, then Dallas, but here's right. And number one is Frank Broyles, the man who built this program with being the athletic director. Why not? He never played for Arkansas, but his legacy is unparalleled because he was the coach of the 1964 National Championship squad. Let's take a look at those 1964 Razorbacks because I want to see like their season. They were 11-0 and beat Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl to make them the championship. They closed the regular season with 5 consecutive shutouts and gave up only 64 points in 11 games. That's almost 6 points per game. That's less than that. Well, Bama lost to Texas in the Orange Bowl, meaning they were number one. However, the AP and UPI coaches polls were before the bowl games were played. Anyway, so the 64 squad beat Oklahoma State, Tulsa, went to Texas Christian on ABC and beat them 29-6. Then beat Baylor 17-6, who were number 9. Sorry. And then once they hit Baylor, they were number 9 in the rankings. Then they went to number 1 Texas at Memorial Stadium and beat them 14-13. That was a huge win. And then they jumped to number 4. They beat Wichita when they had football. They beat A&M. They beat Rice. They beat SMU. And they beat Texas Tech. Texas was the last team to score in the regular season off these guys. And then they ended up being number 2, taking on number 6 Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl on CBS and winning 10-7. That was one heck of a game. Yeah, well, Arkansas kind of was put into the Cotton Bowl because obviously the Southwest Conference champions were doing all that. 75,000 fans went to the Cotton Bowl Stadium in Dallas to watch this game. As Arkansas had a no underrated defense, number 7 Nebraska's scoring offense was almost 25 points per game. In the end, the Razorbacks scored a field goal in the first quarter. Cornette scored a touchdown in the second quarter. In the fourth quarter, Bobby Burnett ran in with less than 5 minutes left. I mean, that was just the defense was just basically the word of the day. I mean, Ken Hatfield, Jim Johnson, and Lloyd Phillips were on All-American teams and all that. There was a massive controversy because of it being a split national championship and the fact that they should not have done the things before the bowls. And they changed in 1965 the membership rate. But anyway, Broyles was the head coach, and then he became the athletic director and helped Arkansas become a national contender in every sense of the word. So, it's all good in the hood somehow. So yeah, so Pig Suey Razorbacks. Hopefully the basketball team does much better than the football team. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.